Good morning and welcome to another episode of Gurge. Today on Gurge we have a very important guest here to promote Section 5 Finance and Administration. Everyone please welcome my guest, Sheldon.
Now watch me whip, now watch me nay nay. Okay. Now watch me whip, watch me nay nay. Why me do it? Now watch me whip, kill it. Watch me nay nay. Okay. Now watch me whip, watch me nay nay. Can you do it? Now watch me, watch me.
Thank you for joining us, Sheldon. Would you like to tell us a little bit more about what Section 5 has to offer?
Well, we have Section 5.1, Budget and Financial Management. In this, we have the municipal board must submit a provisional budget to the municipal council prior to November 30th each year. Budget is prepared by the chief constable and senior staff to estimate how much money will be required for the upcoming year to provide policing in the municipality. Police budget is divided into two parts. One, the annual operations budget. The current budget functions to identify operating costs, the budget for expenditures, and revenue and financing transactions. Number two, the capital budget. Capital budgets can include facilities and the acquisition of expensive purchases that are normally financed through reserves, development charges, and or long-term loans paid back over a number of years. So once the budget for the year has been approved, the board and chief constable should review these spendings based on an identified schedule. This means monthly and quarterly, to ensure that funding is being applied appropriately and that any unforeseen expenditures can be met.
Nice. Seems very interesting. Yeah, so I was watching the trailer actually, and I noticed that you guys have Section 5.2. I remember it said something about expenditure control, and I recall that it said it is essential for police boards to develop policies and practices of financial management in order to ensure that the resources provided for them are utilized to its full value. These practices exist in areas such as advanced planning of policies, formulation of strategies, and allocation of utilization of the resources. Is this correct, Sheldon?
You're very smart, Gurge. And just to add to that, it's important that these expenditure control plans are made specific for the individual department represented. Usually, police boards make it a requirement that authorization to approve spending is limited to people such as the chief constable. Additionally, the spending must be done responsibly, where a purchase will need to be rationalized in the future. Some of these examples include making approvals in their area of responsibility. Lastly, a police board is obligated to always find new ways to improve on their spending practices.
Also in the trailer, I saw that Section 5.3 talked about review control, For review control, they say that the police boards are required to record how revenue is received and controlled. Also for 5.4, tangible capital assets, I saw in the trailer that it said police boards can develop policies that focus on capital investment plans and making sure that the budget can cover potential costs of capital investment decisions overall a long period of time, as these remain to be significant investments for municipal departments which require ongoing maintenance and replacement requirements. Thus, information for this should be provided to the general public.
Great eye, Gurge. Section 5.5 Financial Reporting and Documentation. In this, police boards must have a financial management system in place where it can show the financial conditions and results of the operations of the organization. This may include policies which provide details regarding documents and records, record retention requirements, and principles for accounting records related to the administration of financials.
Well, thank you, Sheldon, for joining us and being today's guest. I am sure Section 5 will excite every citizen in BC. Please tune in to another episode of Gurge next Tuesday, only on JIBC Network.
Boring. Okay, so I'm going to be discussing human resource management. So Section 6.1 is succession planning. So it's important for the boards to think about and define a leadership succession planning process within their departments to alleviate potential issues down the road. And some key steps for this are identify the key positions, establish criteria for each key position, evaluate potential successful succession planning candidates, promote or seek to develop diverse succession candidate pools where feasible, monitor developmental progress of succession planning candidates, review and revise candidate development plans as necessary to ensure that all developmental needs are addressed, and lastly is to ensure that at least 2 succession planning candidates exist for each identified position, or that appropriate action will be initiated to identify acceptable candidates.
Yeah, he's gonna need.
So 6.2, supporting services for employees. So the police boards may wish to develop policies related to the provision of support services that are available to employees. So some of these support services are harassment, stress with work, alcohol and substance misuse, grief and bereavement, quite a few things like that. Section 6.3 is career pathing, development, and education. So leadership development is particularly important within law enforcement and a career-based organization where staff exercise unique and independent powers. So police boards should be committed to investing its existing and potential leaders by providing a range of experimental developmental training to other organizations and clear operational career pathing. So the boards should view the policy as fair and an open method to developing staff in order to assist their personal development and making them better police officers. And this purpose of career pathing is to enhance the employees' skills and abilities and to contribute them to future resource needs of the department. 6.4, which is performances, planning, and review. The performances, planning, and review policy is designed to ensure that each staff member receives an annual performance assessment. So this assessment must include a review of the progress made on the prior year's goals and the setting of new goals for the coming year. So this will help the individual employee improve the performance of their duties and enable police boards to enhance the quality of members' abilities, skills, training, and development. And 6.5 is staff recognition. So police boards look to encourage the recognition of excellent performance and achievement through the use of a recognition process that is creative, flexible, and meaningful.
Thank you. So today I'll be covering Section 7 of the Municipal Board. 7.1 includes confidentiality. Within this, it explains that board members are to be familiar with key sections of the Freedom and Information and Protection Privacy Act. This is because they are subjected to specific requirements such as confidentiality, and they're not supposed to discuss information about police department officers, staff, members, or clients. This is to protect the rep of the PD and to avoid lawsuits. Section 7.2, it covers conflict of interest. This is where they develop policy regarding conflict of interest, and it is great importance that members are to be impartial and avoid situations where they can receive personal gain in their positions. If a situation that may pose a conflict of interest, board members must inform the board of the conflict and, no matter the seriousness, withdraw from the situation. 7.3, guidelines for conduct. So municipal boards consist of rigorous guidelines to make sure that board members are able to carry out through their roles with a high standard, and this the board resourcing office includes duty of integrity, loyalty, care, and skill. However, individual police boards are able to develop and adopt their own. 7.4 covers communication. So within this, municipal police boards have developed their own communication policy where it highlights appropriate protocols for communicating with the media and the community, and this also includes areas which represents the board and department, as well as procedures taken when a situation may affect a stakeholder. Most often the chair represents the board, but it is also important that the chair is able to choose designated members who could represent the board as well. Lastly, the representatives' decisions must reflect those of the boards as a consensus. 7.5 covers board and evaluation. Boards evaluate an individual and collective performance. The performance may occur once a year, initiated by the chair, and in this it helps the board evaluate whether direction and activities they've done have been beneficiary, and if adjustments should be made. In addition, this evaluation process examines accomplishments and how well the results met the goals set out, and this will be done in concrete and measurable terms, utilizing self-evaluation tools and processes. And lastly, the results of the assessment are confidential. 7.6, board committee/resources. So to help boards effectively address issues and concerns, committees are created. This can be through preparing alternative policies, which provide better services, and committees are not a replacement for boards, but can help in collective bargaining and budget development. They do not hold authority, and they do not monitor organizational performance, but should forms to reference that they meet the police.